Welcome to Tech Lab by Sid. In this video, let's discuss the various implementation approaches in SAP.
Moving from ECC to S/4HANA? There are three paths: Greenfield, Brownfield, and Bluefield. Greenfield builds new. Brownfield converts existing. Bluefield selectively keeps, transforms, or discards. Choose Greenfield to transform, Brownfield for continuity, or Bluefield for selective transformation.
Before understanding Greenfield, Brownfield, or Bluefield, let's first understand what SAP implementation actually means. SAP implementation is the process of introducing SAP into a business, configuring it according to business requirements, migrating or creating the required data, integrating it with other systems, and finally making it available for business operations. When an organization moves to S/4HANA, the approach it chooses can be very different depending on its existing system, business requirements, data, customizations, and transformation goals. The three approaches we commonly discuss are Greenfield, Brownfield, and Bluefield, also known as selective data transition. Let's start with Greenfield implementation. Think of Greenfield as building a new house on a new piece of land. In a Greenfield SAP implementation, the organization creates a completely new S/4HANA system instead of directly converting its existing SAP system. The company first analyzes its business processes, decides how those processes should work in the future, and then configures the new S/4HANA system accordingly. This approach gives the organization an opportunity to redesign processes, reduce unnecessary customizations, adopt SAP standard functionality, and create a cleaner system architecture. For example, imagine a company has been running SAP ECC for many years and has thousands of custom developments. Instead of carrying all those old customizations into S/4HANA, the company can start with a clean S/4HANA system and only build the developments that are actually required. So when does Greenfield make sense? Greenfield is particularly useful when the organization wants a major business transformation. For example, if the existing system contains a large amount of technical debt, outdated processes, redundant custom code, or processes that no longer match the business, simply converting the system may not be the best option. Greenfield allows the organization to rethink its processes and adopt more standard SAP functionality. However, there is a trade-off. Because you are building a new system, Greenfield generally requires more process redesign, configuration, testing, data migration planning, and change management. So Greenfield gives you more freedom, but it can also require more transformation effort. Now let's look at Brownfield implementation. If Greenfield means starting from scratch, Brownfield means transforming what you already have. In the SAP world, Brownfield is commonly associated with system conversion, where an existing ERP system such as ECC is converted to S/4HANA. Instead of creating a completely new system, the organization carries forward much of its existing configuration, data, business processes, and custom developments, while adapting them to the S/4HANA environment. For example, imagine a company has been using SAP ECC for 10 years and its existing business processes are still relevant. The company may not want to redesign everything. Instead, it can convert the existing system to S/4HANA and make the necessary technical and functional changes required by S/4HANA. Brownfield is generally attractive when the existing SAP system is stable and the organization wants to preserve its established processes and data. It can reduce the need to redesign everything from scratch. This can be particularly useful for organizations with complex business processes, significant historical data, and heavily integrated SAP landscapes. But Brownfield also has a potential downside. If the existing system contains years of unnecessary customizations or inefficient processes, simply carrying them forward may also carry forward some of the technical debt. So Brownfield provides more continuity, but generally gives you less freedom to completely redesign the business processes. Now we come to Bluefield. Bluefield is commonly used to describe a selective transformation approach, where an organization doesn't necessarily want to take everything from the existing system and doesn't necessarily want to start completely from scratch either. Instead, it selectively decides what should be migrated, what should be transformed, and what should be left behind. For example, imagine a company has 10 years of SAP data, but only the last 5 years are relevant for the new system. At the same time, some business units need to retain their existing processes, while another business unit wants to adopt completely redesigned processes. A selective transformation approach can provide a middle ground between Greenfield and Brownfield. The exact capabilities and terminology can vary depending on the SAP transformation methodology and tools being used, so Bluefield should not be treated as one single standardized technical procedure. Now let's compare the three approaches. Greenfield means starting with a new S/4HANA system and redesigning the business processes. Brownfield means converting the existing SAP system and preserving much of the existing landscape. Bluefield or selective data transition sits between these approaches by selectively transforming the existing landscape and migrating the data and processes that the business actually wants to retain. So if your primary goal is business transformation, Greenfield can be a strong option. If your primary goal is system conversion with business continuity, Brownfield may be more appropriate. And if you want selective transformation while retaining specific parts of your existing landscape, a selective transition approach may be considered. Let's take a real-world example. Suppose ABC Manufacturing has been running SAP ECC for 10 years. The system contains a large amount of custom code, old business processes, historical data, and integrations with several other systems. Now the company wants to move to S/4HANA. If management wants to completely redesign the business processes and eliminate unnecessary customizations, Greenfield may be the better direction. If the existing processes are working well, and the main objective is to move to S/4HANA while preserving business continuity, Brownfield may make more sense. But imagine ABC wants to preserve some existing processes, migrate only relevant data, and completely redesign processes for a new business unit. In that situation, a selective transformation approach such as Bluefield may provide a better fit. The important point is that there is no universally best approach. The right approach depends on the organization's business and technical requirements. So how do you decide which approach is right? Start by asking 5 questions. First, are our existing business processes still relevant? Second, how much custom code and customization exists in the current system? Third, how much historical data actually needs to be available in the new system? Fourth, how much business transformation does the organization want? And finally, how much disruption and change can the business realistically handle? If the organization wants to completely rethink its processes, Greenfield may be the right direction. If the existing processes are valuable, and the organization mainly wants to move its existing system to S/4HANA, brownfield may be more suitable. And if the organization wants a selective combination of retention and transformation, a selective transition approach can be considered. So remember it in one simple line. Greenfield, build fresh. Brownfield, transform existing. Bluefield, select what to transform. And that's the basic idea behind SAP major implementation and transformation approaches. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more SAP concepts explained through stories and real-world analogies, make sure to subscribe and explore the channel.